They say hunger is painful, but what truly hurts is watching your child cry for food and having nothing left to give. For Rahim, that pain had become a part of his everyday life. He was an honest man, once a factory guard in the city. He wasn't rich, but he had enough to feed his wife and his little daughter, Aisha. Life was simple, predictable, even happy. Until one night, without any warning, the factory closed down. Suddenly, the life he knew was gone. Weeks bled into months. Rahim searched everywhere for work. He went to construction sites, local shops, and even offered to do cleaning jobs. But fate seemed deaf to his prayers. Every door that closed, every rejection he faced, felt heavier than the last. The pride he once carried in his posture was replaced by a visible weight on his shoulders. Back home, his wife sold the last of her jewelry. Their small savings vanished like morning mist. The man who once smiled with pride now carried a deep, quiet shame in his eyes. Yet through it all, he never begged. He held on to a sliver of hope, a belief that tomorrow would be better. One evening, utterly exhausted, he found himself sitting outside a small bakery. The warm, inviting smell of freshly baked bread filled the air, a cruel tease to his empty stomach. Inside, he saw a young boy, maybe 10 years old, crying. He had lost his wallet. The baker, impatient and gruff, was scolding him, refusing to give him the loaf of bread he had already touched. Rahim watched this scene unfold, his heart aching for the boy. He reached deep into his torn pocket and pulled out the last bit of money he had in the world, just enough for one loaf of bread. He walked into the bakery, his steps heavy, but his purpose firm. He handed the coins to the baker and said quietly, "Give him the bread." The baker looked up, surprised, sizing up Rahim's worn-out clothes and gaunt face. "You're paying for him?" the baker asked, a hint of disbelief in his voice. "You look like you need this more than anyone." Rahim just managed a weak smile. "Maybe, but hunger is easier to bear than guilt." The young boy looked up at Rahim, his tear-streaked face filled with gratitude. "Thank you, uncle," he whispered. "I'll never forget this." Rahim walked away that night with an empty stomach, but for the first time in months, his heart felt strangely full. 2 days later, the world went dark. Rahim, weak from hunger and exhaustion, fainted while searching for work. He collapsed on the side of the road. But this time, fate had a different plan. A car screeched to a halt beside him. A well-dressed man stepped out, his face etched with concern. They rushed him to a small clinic, gave him food, water, and a place to rest. When Rahim finally opened his eyes, the man was sitting beside him. He smiled. "I remember you. You helped my little brother at the bakery." And there, standing beside him, was the same boy. It was his older brother, the man who owned a large construction company. They had been looking for the kind stranger ever since that evening. The man's voice was warm. "I don't know how to thank you. You gave your last coin when you had absolutely nothing. A man with a heart like that is rare." He paused, then continued. "From today you'll work for me. I need people like you. Honest, kind, real." Tears, hot and uncontrollable, rolled down Rahim's face. He wasn't crying from sadness or despair anymore. These were tears of relief, of disbelief, of overwhelming gratitude. That single act of charity, that one loaf of bread given in his darkest hour, had just changed his life forever. Months passed. Rahim was back on his feet, providing for his family again. The laughter returned to his home, and Aisha's smile was brighter than ever. But he never forgot the lesson life had taught him in the depths of his struggle. Every Friday, he returned to that same bakery, not to buy bread for himself, but to leave small packets of food on the counter for anyone who might be hungry and unable to pay. When people asked him why he did it, he would simply smile and say, "I gave when I had nothing, and in return I received everything I needed." Charity doesn't empty your pocket, it fills your soul. This story reminds us that charity isn't about wealth or abundance. It's about compassion. It's about giving not because you have plenty, but because you understand what it feels like to have nothing. The world changes not when we build bigger houses, but when we build bigger hearts. So the next time you see someone in need, don't turn away. You never know. That small act of kindness might just be the bread that saves a life, or even your own soul tomorrow. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that inspires. We'll see you in the next video.